Historical Reconstruction of Aryan X.
Episode 61. History Fabrication. Before we delve into the core history of the Scythian Aryans, which was the history of China located in Turkmenistan, Central Asia, we will re-examine basic knowledge before entering the era of Jejong-ilchi, like unity of religion and politics, of the 25 histories of China. If we go straight into the main text of the 25 histories of China, there will be no time to mention these fundamental common senses. From episodes 61 to 72, I will mention these basic common senses, and from episode 73, we will enter the history of the Scythian Aryans in Turkmenistan, Central Asia, which was the center of the world and is the common history for all of you. 1. Truth and lies. In this world, there is truth, but there is also an overflowing abundance of fabricated videos and materials designed to hide that truth so that you cannot see it. However, the most critical point is that if you possess the hyan, insight or wisdom, and the will to distinguish and differentiate between lies and truth, there will be no problem at all. The most disappointing experience was realizing that the majority of citizens in the global village today only pretend to be jishigin, like intellectuals who know their history well, but those who are truly intellectual or worthy of the name are very few. If their level is such that they cannot even distinguish between the truth and lies of their own history, it is simply obvious. The difference between those who looked into the content with questions like, "Why is this so?" while studying history with basic common sense, and those who simply memorized what they were taught, will be as stark as the difference in historical proficiency between Aryan X and you. Aryan X always kept this in mind. Why did this happen? If you can boldly think, "This does not fit common sense," you are an awakened person. However, the majority of people have turned away from the truth and have fallen asleep, intoxicated by their own satisfaction. The people whom the entities that fabricated history anticipate the most are precisely those who are asleep. Because of these sleeping people, the truth called history is still asleep. Now, please wake up from your sleep. Aryan X is a fighter who speaks only the truth and does not tolerate you being asleep. 2. Conscience. The basic attitude of scholarship is yangshim, like conscience. Especially regarding the issue of history, the judgment of the authenticity of its content depends on that person's yangshim, like conscience. For those who seek to find the truth is visible as it is. However, for those humans who base everything on the manipulated and clumsy knowledge they possess, thinking it is everything, there is no way the truth can be seen properly. If you are that smart, you should have revealed the truth of history yourselves. The majority cannot even approach the vicinity of that truth. Aryan X will exist for that one last seeker who wants to know the truth. Before knowing Aryan X, you were people at a level where you could not even dare to guess how your history was fabricated, but now you have undergone a dimensional change and reached the stage where you can reveal the truth of world history. This special connection with Aryan X will be unforgettable for a lifetime. Truly, the echo towards the truth of history across the entire world exists only in Aryan X's history restoration. 3. Bound books and true historians. In Aryan X videos, we will focus only on simple explanations so that you can easily understand. Due to this relationship, please make sure to utilize the Jebonchek, like bound books, for detailed historical contents. The Jebonchek, like bound books, of Aryan X will be precious treasures containing the truth of history for you for the rest of your lives and will be passed down to your descendants. They will also be the only evidence to prove to your descendants that you participated in the history restoration of Aryan X during that fierce and important period to uncover the truth of history. 4. Do you really think you know the history of your ancestors? If I, Aryan X, can do it, you can do it too. When you were unaware of your true history, there was an existence who looked at the truths of a level you could not possibly imagine and who worked as a guard at a construction site, staying up all night to reveal, establish, and restore the truth. Do you know what the difference is between me, Aryan X, and you as well as the people of the world? My university studies and passion for scholarship became the foundation for revealing and clarifying the truth, but the university studies and scholarly pursuits of you and the people of the world seem to have become a foundation not for distinguishing right from wrong, but merely for memorizing knowledge. If your intellectual level is such that you cannot distinguish and judge right from wrong, the discussion is already over. Our true history is not within your complacent thoughts, fabricated knowledge, convenient rationality, and dogma. The forces that fabricated history were not pushovers, they were the supreme intellectuals of that time. To overpower such people, you will need wiser judgment. Do you truly want to see the history of truth? Then it is simple. If you peel off the outer shell of obstinacy obtained from that fabricated knowledge, which has been hindering and covering the display of your hidden genius due to your ignorant obstinacy, the world will look different. It will be a tearfully difficult trial and discipline, but in this process, the second and third bright people of Aryan X who undergo dimensional changes will appear. Aryan X is a person who climbed to this stage by himself. There was a trial of tears of blood for 12 years, but it was not an impossibility that a human could achieve. Every field I can think of and imagine is capable of achieving its goal. However, sometimes it just takes a lot of cost and time. Impossibility is a range we cannot imagine, therefore there is no impossible. Time does not always wait for you. Now is the time when courage, confidence, and boldness are truly needed to reveal these truths towards our hidden truth. I sincerely hope that this blood-curdling scream of Aryan X resonates deep in your hearts and that you join us. I, Aryan X, do not want to pass down to our lovely descendants that garbage-like history that was fabricated to make us slaves. I truly want to pass down the true spirit and history of Sahe Dongpo, universal brotherhood, that all mankind are brothers born from the same boat, along with the spirit of the great confidence of our ancestors, and Hongik Ingan, devotion to the welfare of mankind, which is the teaching of our ancestors to widely benefit the human world.
사상누각 is a house built on sand. To build a monumental achievement of historical study and the golden tower of a splendid pavilion, none of us would be fools who want to build a building called history without any defense on sand or mud where the ground can easily subside or collapse. Everyone knows the meaning of sasangnugak as a house built on sand, that if you build a building on sand, it collapses, and they point fingers at those who act that way, calling them fools. However, the people who actually want to build the golden tower of history know that sasangnugak as a house built on sand is a foolish act, and curse it, yet they themselves are unknowingly doing the act of building a building on a sandy field that will soon collapse. The most heartbreaking thing is that they do not even know the fact that they are doing something wrong. They need to know something to even fix it. The most important thing when studying history is precise 입증, like verification and proof of what one believes or wants to say. Verification that can persuade oneself, others, and third parties. That is the only criterion to distinguish and differentiate between truth and lies. All contents of Aryan X's history restoration have the actual terrain and geographical locations for those hypotheses and claims fully verified. The only difference is whether you accept or do not accept, or believe or do not believe the contents of the truth that are so different from the existing fabricated contents. This is the beginning of the ultimate difference. Whether to believe or not is your choice. However, I hope you do not deceive just one thing, your own conscience. 6. Mentor of life. Aryan X has two mentors. One of them is my late father, and who is the one existing now? About 15 years ago, before Aryan X started history, I heard what my son said, and I made it my belief for life and kept it, and in the end I revealed it and achieved it. My son told me, "Dad, when you go to the temple and pray to Buddha, they say you do not pray to achieve your own greed asking to make something happen." I still keep these words deep in my heart. I still have never prayed to that object or idol to do something for me, whether at a temple or anywhere else, because the subject that achieves the act I desire is not an existence outside of me, but immediately myself. I hope you pray only to yourself, and also make a pledge to yourself. Aryan X, my life mentor, is none other than my son. 7. Jokdangjui as the attitude of doing things in moderation and compromise. One of the things Aryan X pledged 12 years ago when starting history was that no matter what hard work or difficulties arose, I would reject jokdangjui as the attitude of doing things in moderation, of compromising appropriately with myself under any circumstances. There was absolutely no case of just passing over appropriately towards the truth of history. If there was something I said wrongly, I immediately admitted it and repeated correction and change. If the criticism of the geographical location or the content was wrong, I replayed the entire 25 histories of China to find the wrong part and repeated the correction, undergoing tens of thousands of trials and errors, and finally, the current Jabonchek-like bound books were completed. If you truly love and want to know our world history, you must have the Yangxin-like conscience to recognize and admit the truth. And please absolutely do not compromise with injustice, sloppiness, and zhokdangjui as the attitude of doing things in moderation. The moment you compromise, the shred of conscience towards the truth is bound to die. In the next episode, I will reveal the truth about Asia. Please refer to the attached blog for details regarding the YouTube video release schedule and titles, as well as the title and table of contents of the prepared book. https://blog.naver.com/Go Kim Garcia